Hi everyone, in today's tutorial we're looking at how to make and attach fringe. So let's get started. So the first thing you want to do to begin is to find a book that is the width of the length that you want the fringe to be. So I want my fringe to be 4 inches long. And so you can see here this book has a width of about 4¼ inches. So that's just about the size that I need. Another thing you're going to be looking for in the book that you're using is just for it to have a lip right here, so you can see that the covers are a little bit longer than the pages, and that allows you to really easily insert your scissors and cut the fringe nice and neat. Okay, so to get started, I am just going to hold my yarn in place near the top of the book here, which is going to give me plenty of room to wrap the yarn. And then I am just going to neatly and as evenly as I can, without pulling too tightly, wrap the yarn around the book. So just like that. You don't want it to be too loose that it's sliding all over the place, but you also don't want to pull it so tight because you can see that that is going to make that piece of yarn much shorter than the rest. So just keep even tension as you're wrapping the book around. Another thing you don't want to do is overlap the yarn, right? So if you were to wrap it like this, that's going to give you different lengths of yarn. So to keep it as close as possible, just make it nice and even as you go around. It's going to be difficult to make them all exactly the same length, but if you start off with them all being close, it's really easy to just trim the fringe at the end. So you won't need to be trimming the entire thing, you'll only need to clean up a piece here or there. So for my scarf that I'm working on, I know there's 17 stitches and I want there to be 2 pieces of fringe in each one. So I'm just going to quickly count this and see how close we are to 34 pieces.
If you guys are finding this video helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I always like to fulfill requests, so if you guys have any requests for tutorials, please be sure to comment below.
33 and 34. I normally do just a couple extra for good measure. Okay, so now we're ready to trim this. What I like to do with this last piece here is to just bring it about to the halfway point and hold it down with my thumb. And then take your fabric scissors and just carefully cut right down the middle. Okay, so now we're done with that bit of yarn there. And then you can see, here's my fringe. Okay, so now let's look at how to attach it. So attaching the fringe is pretty easy once you get the hang of it. Again, for this scarf, I'm just going to be using 2 pieces for every stitch space. So I've got my 2 strands of yarn here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that they're even as they can be, and then I'm going to fold it in half. So I've got this nice little loop on the edge here, and then working from the same side always, I'm going to pull the yarn through. So what do I mean by that? I am going to pull, I'm just using my hook to open that stitch there, and then I'm going to pull the yarn in from the left to the right. Okay, so now my loop is on the right side, and I've got the ends here on the left. All you want to do at this point is open that up and pull it through, and then slowly tighten it. You don't want to pull it too tight. Just a nice gentle tug will give you a pretty little edge. Okay, so let's grab our next 2 pieces of yarn. Whoops. And again, we're just going to make sure that they're even. Fold it in half like so. And we are going in from the left to the right. I'm just opening up the stitch with my hook here and then pulling the yarn from the left side to the right side just underneath that stitch. So now I've got the loop on the right and the ends over here on the left. I'm just going to open up that loop and pull the ends through gently. Okay, so on to the next. Got my 2 pieces. I'm going to even them out. Fold them in half. Open up the stitch with my hook. And then pull the yarn from the left to the right. Open up the loop and pull those tail ends through. Okay, so this is the tail end from the project. What I did, it was of course over here. What I did is I just wove it in and out of these stitches and pulled it out through the top of this stitch here. And the reason that I did that is because you can hide that tail in with the fringe. So let me show you how to do that. Even it out, fold it in half, open up the stitch, pull the loop from the left to the right, and we're going to, oops, one of those was trying to get in there. Okay, we're going to open it up. Now we need to find the tail end. It's longer than the other one, so that's relatively easy to do. And now holding the tail end with the tails of the fringe, you just pull it through also. And then gently tug to tighten it up. So now all you need to do is just cut that so that it's about even with the other ones. And there you have it. So I'm just going to get the rest of these attached and I'll show you what the finished product looks like. Alright, so I'm almost on the last stitch here and I wanted to show you why I always go from the same side with the loops. So I'm just going to grab 2 pieces of yarn, do the whole same beginning step, except for this time I'm going to pull it from the right to the left and you'll see what the difference is. So to do that, it's just easy for me to turn my work, okay? And then, so this is how I've been holding it, and now I'm just going from the right side over to the left. Right. And so you can see how that one looks different from the rest. And on this side also. So whichever way you do it, there's no one right way, right? You can go from the right or to the left, but just be sure to do each of them the same. So if you've got a chain stitch on the scarf, just like this one here, this is a chain 3 in this pattern that counts as a stitch. Going into the top of that chain 3 kind of stretches it out and makes it go that way, the fringe. So what I like to do is you can either not put one there, or you can put one in the space between the stitches, just like this. So here's what it looks like with one. And again, you don't have to put one there. That is a personal preference, right? Okay, so you can see that the fringe is pretty much even. There's maybe one right here that I'll trim. You don't want them, or at least I don't want mine, to be really blunt, right? I like for them to have a little bit of different lengths at the very end, just minimal differences. Obviously, if it's really long, it looks weird and you want to trim it. But if I were to like hold this down and try to cut it, it would be really blunt. And that to me just doesn't look as nice as slight differences in the edges. It's kind of like with bangs or something, right? Like really blunt bangs look sort of off, unless that's the style that you're going for. So anyway, that's how you attach the fringe. I hope this has been helpful to you guys. If you have any questions, please be sure to comment below. Okay, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.